Arsenal versus Newcastle is tomorrow. How good is it having these games back to back to back? Now, obviously, there are some risks that we will talk about, but I cannot wait for this game. And we got some interesting topics to touch on in this video, but let me know your thoughts on this game. How do you think the Arsenal versus Newcastle game is going to play out? What's your score predictions? Let me know, and I'm going to give you my score prediction at the end of the video. So after that loss against Porto, it is essential Arsenal bounce back as quickly as possible. We don't want a scenario similar to what we had last season where we lost a game and then it kind of got in the players' heads and then we seem to just go on this streak of losing games we shouldn't have lost. Arsenal can't do that this season, and relax, because I don't think Arsenal will do that this season. Arsenal are more than capable of beating this Newcastle team. There's some interesting, things to think about that we will get into, but I think Arsenal are not going to fall away. I don't think this is going to be the same scenario that we had last season. I think Arsenal are going to beat Newcastle, and I think Arsenal are going to beat Porto as well to progress to the next round. But there were some interesting pieces of news that come out today. Now, I don't know if to believe them or not because I've heard this so much, but the word on the grapevine is Thomas Partey and Gabriel Jesus will be available for this game. Now, I don't know how many times I've said that this season, so I don't know. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I hope to God it is, because if we can have Partey and Gabriel Jesus available at some point in this game, that will only improve Arsenal's chances, of course in this game, but in future games as well. We need our strongest team available. We found that out midweek against Porto. You can't keep playing the same team because you become predictable. And Arsenal can't be a predictable team. We love playing fluid, fast motion football. And you can't keep doing that with the same players because teams will eventually figure you out. We saw midweek, Porto sort of played like a mid-block, and Arsenal struggled to break them down. We lacked creativity at times, but mainly we just lacked space. But I think things will be different in this game against Newcastle. I think we're going to have some different personnel introduced in this game, mainly because we have to. You can't play the same team 4 times in a row, and I don't think Mikel Arteta would do that. So I'm interested to see who he puts his trust in. Who do you think Mikel Arteta should pick? I'm putting Jorginho in this game. We saw him come in against Porto, but he didn't really have enough time to really lay his print and try and affect the game. But I think when you start Jorginho, he does offer some good things. We know how good he is at passing. We know how well he reads the game. He does lack a bit of legs, but if you've got Declan Rice behind you, I don't see that being a problem in this Newcastle game. I expect Arsenal to have a lot of possession of the ball. Newcastle will have spells in this game. Newcastle will grab hold of the ball at some points, and they do have some technical players. They do have some tough players. Newcastle's team is a mix of strength, technicality, speed at times as well. So there's definitely things for Arsenal to think about in this game, but I think Arsenal are more than capable of winning this game, and I think the team that Mikel Arteta will go for is David Raya in goal. I think Ben White right back, Saliba and Gabriel, and then he's probably forced to play Kiwior again. Now, I applauded Kiwior's performance in the game against Burnley and the game against West Ham, but he may not be the answer to every single game. I think in parts or against certain teams, Kiwior can be a helpful addition to this Arsenal squad. But, he doesn't have the experience to play every single game for Arsenal yet, and that's okay. The experience will come. But at the minute, we're probably forced to play him because we know how many left-backs we're missing in this squad. You got Zinchenko out. You got Tomiyasu out. You got Timber out. All 3 of them players would start ahead of Kiwior, but we don't have them available. So for that reason, it's going to be Kiwior at left-back, Declan Rice CDM, and then it's going to be Jorginho, in my opinion. I think Mikel Arteta will play Jorginho in that number 8 role. Then it's going to be Odegaard, Saka, Gabriel Jesus if he's available. And then I think he would go Trossard on the left, given the choice. Martinelli, in the past few games, he's actually done some nice things, but I think he just might be struggling. He went through a patch a few weeks ago and he was scoring, he scored like 3 goals in 2 games, but I don't think that can continue for that much longer. I think Martinelli does need a rest, and I think Trossard would be the perfect replacement to play on the left-hand side. But that's all dependent on if Gabriel Jesus is fit for this game. If not, it's going to be Martinelli on the left and Trossard up front. Mikel Arteta may surprise us and opt to play Havertz in that striker position, and maybe that is a good option. I found Trossard isolated in that last game, so we need to get the striker more involved in this game, and we need to give the striker more chances. There was a few times in that last game where we just crossed the ball over high. Trossard's never going to win the headers. We need to make sure if we're beating our man, we're either cutting it back or flashing it across the 6-yard box for someone to tap in. So in terms of a score prediction, I'm going with a 2-0 Arsenal win. I don't think Newcastle are going to be able to score. We know how good Arsenal's defence has been in the league this season. You know, we've conceded the least goals by quite a number of goals as well. It's about 3 or 4 goals. We've conceded less than every other single team. And there's some good defensive teams in this league. We know Liverpool, Man City, they're all good defensive teams. But Arsenal have the best defence in the Premier League. And we have to win this game by more than 2 goals to go top in terms of goal difference again. And we know how important that's going to be in this year's title race. So it'd be good if Arsenal can get 2 or 3 goals in this game just to gather some more momentum and get that pace back that we had heading into that Porto game. I don't think that Porto game will affect our confidence. I think the players probably learnt something from that Porto game. You know, games will be challenging at times. You're going to have to do certain different things in games to try and get a result. That's the way it is sometimes. You have to grind out results. And maybe that's what Arsenal has struggled with this season. You know, if Arsenal haven't been able to play beautiful, fluid football and win 3-4, 5-0, you know, maybe they've struggled this season. Last season, we saw it quite a lot. We was able to just grind out 1-0 wins or score so many late winners. And I think that's maybe just what's missing from this Arsenal team this season. But I do think we're capable of doing it. And I can't wait for the game against Newcastle. But like I said, I would love to know everyone's opinions. Let me know your thoughts on the games. What do you think the score's going to be? Who do you think the scorers are going to be? Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. If you enjoyed this video, do me a favour and just hit the like button. That's all I want you to do. Just hit the like button and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.